Hi, welcome back to Mountain Gym Card Collectibles, and today I want to talk about some very big news that's on the radar. And I usually don't do a lot of Saturday episodes. I do have a surgery coming up next week, so maybe this makes up for a day where I'm gone next week. Anyway, today I want to talk about eBay and its possible acquisition by Gamestop of all companies and corporations, okay? When I look at Gamestop, I just view it as a joke, okay? I mean, it's just kind of like some crypto bros trying to take stuff over, and putting massive price tags on Pokemon products and other products as well, which really turns GameStop into a joke. And so I couldn't imagine GameStop taking over eBay because we all know what's going to happen. eBay is going to go down the toilet, overall. I'm sure the fees will go through the roof. If they don't want to start charging everybody to start selling on there, who knows? But I'm guessing that, if GameStop takes over eBay, eBay's going to more or less be cooked within a few years, I just feel like you have to have people who really care about this business. And to me, GameStop is just looking for clout, like any other crypto bro. So I'll just read what this says. I mean, this story's been hitting online for about the last 15 hours. This comes from IGN. It says GameStop reportedly preparing to make an offer to buy eBay. Do your bidding. More like cross your fingers this nightmare doesn't happen. This just came out, today. It's May 2nd, 2026. This came out this morning at 1:53 a.m. GameStop is reportedly interested in buying eBay and preparing to make an offer. Whoop whoop. The Wall Street Journal reported that GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen wants to turn the retailer into a $100 billion plus juggernaut that moves beyond video games and merchandise. GameStop had a market value of $11 billion at the close after shares jumped 6.33% on the news. eBay has a market value of $46 billion and saw its shares jump over 11% on the news. Okay, so that's a pretty big market value that eBay has in comparison to GameStop. GameStop has $11 billion, eBay has $46 billion. Now, I've never been a big fan of companies on the stock market because to me, they just game the system. They game the system from shareholders, stockholders over their classic ways of doing business, which is typically trying to get money from the consumer. Okay? And so this is really the important part right here. As the Wall Street Journal noted, Cohen could make up to $35 billion in stock if the company's market value hits $100 billion. Among other compensation package criteria, in January, the 40-year-old billionaire told the publication he wanted a big deal that is ultimately either going to be genius or totally foolish. Yeah, like it says here. And this is why I just feel like GameStop is just a joke, For years now, some have called GameStop a dying bricks and mortar retailer as it looks to new and often bizarre ways to generate revenue. August 2023 saw the company pull out of crypto and it shut its short-lived NFT marketplace just a few months later. More recently, and much to the dismay of its employees, GameStop held its first ever Trade Anything Day, which saw customers bringing in literally anything for trading credit at their local stores, okay? Desperation. During the 2025 financial year ending January 31st, 2026, GameStop saw net sales of $3.630 billion, down from $3.823 billion in 2024. Operating income was $232.1 million compared to an operating loss of $26.2 million in fiscal year 2024. Okay. So to me, GameStop really isn't in a good place, all right? So they're just trying to figure stuff out, and they think that, possibly taking eBay over is going to help them out. And I just see it as a way for, the CEO, Ryan Cohen, to, fill his pockets some more, because that's all he cares about at the end of the day. He doesn't care about resellers like us. And I'm not a very big reseller. I mean, if you're a big reseller, I would be really sweating this out, man. I really would. I mean, if I had thousands and thousands and thousands of items on eBay right now, I'd be like, oh my God, what is going to happen? And so there's a lot of people talking about this. And of course, people are talking about this on X. So I pulled this up. So like it says here, this is from the Wall Street Journal. GameStop is preparing to make an offer for eBay, according to people familiar with the matter. Part of CEO Ryan Cohen's plan to turn GameStop into a $100 billion plus juggernaut. Yeah. More like Delulu land here. I just think he's delusional, you know. I really do. I don't believe that this CEO really knows much about anything. I think he's a young guy who's got some money, and he's trying to figure life out, and that's about it. This is funny. This was a reply. Dying retailer buying dying retailer. Wall Street Journal all over it. Why? Methinks they covered too much. And, you know, I mean, I feel like eBay hasn't been very healthy since the pandemic for the most part either, you know. They've had a few highs and a lot of lows, to say the least. But honestly, I still feel like the way that eBay is running their company currently is going to be much better than, say, if, you know, GameStop comes in there with all of their BS. Oh, what? eBay is worth like $46 billion. GameStop is worth like $11 billion. Even worse still is this. So they neither have the money nor the stock to do anything. I can't think of a bigger load of BS I've seen in a long time. Yeah, he makes a great point there. You know, I mean, I think that what we're seeing is a bunch of billionaires becoming desperate because things just aren't working out for them. And did they honestly think things are going to work out in a world full of AI stealing people's jobs away, you know, and making consumers have less and less money? Are they expecting, you know, say Elon Musk's robots to take over and start, you know, making purchases and taking the place of humans? I just feel like a lot of these billionaires are just delusional as can be. And I don't understand why. eBay, why not just start small and buy whatnot first? I don't think eBay needs the money that bad. Now, that would be a much smarter move by Ryan Cohen, would be to try and push and buy whatnot, because whatnot's really hot right now. And with the cash that he has, he might be able to pull it off, you know, rather than trying to take over, you know, eBay with all of its value. I guess I'm not just paying attention. I thought GameStop was on life support. I guess they corrected the course with hobby collectibles. No, they're just desperate, you know, and they're, like it says, they're trying to become a bigger company. But once again, you have crypto bros, which to me, you know, I just keep thinking delusional, you know. That's just my take on it. Should really be the other way around. eBay is about 5 times the size of GameStop. Would take a lot of debt to make it happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't think eBay would honestly want to be part of GameStop because, let's face it, GameStop to me is like a dinosaur from the 1990s. It really is, you know. It's just, I'm surprised the thing is still alive. I mean, it's been on life support off and on. Obviously, they're getting desperate again to, you know, make a move. I just think GameStop at the end of the day is really pathetic. This would be like Burlington Coat Factory buying Mercedes-Benz, guys. eBay is worth triple the amount of GameStop. This won't happen. This is GameStop saying we're about to exit video games and we are trying to rally up the stocks. Good point, you know. I mean, and that could be just another way to do it. Try and get people excited, you know, try and get the investors excited. Because we're honestly, you know, it's always... they're pumping up this, pumping up that on the stock market. I'm not doing the stock market currently. I was doing it, you know, up to about a month ago. I just decided to step back. It was just becoming too crazy. It's too tough to read. Here's one. I've been skeptical of these rumors for months, even before eBay announced the Depop deal. Now someone needs to explain how a 1.2 billion used fashion site that won't be accretive until 2028 makes any of this make more sense for Jamie, because I'm not seeing it. And that's just it. You know, you look at what GameStop's trying to attempt with what they have for revenue, you know, about $12 billion. And really, it just feels like a bridge too far, doesn't it? It really does. I mean, I always like to say delusional. maybe there's something going on in the back rooms here to try and pump up the stock, for GameStop, but honestly, when you look at this on paper, I just don't see how this could happen. And I know that Ryan Cohen wants to, possibly go directly to the shareholders to make this deal go through. But honestly, when you look at GameStop, I've said it before, it just looks like a very sick company to an extent, and I feel like they're trying to break out of their old 90s mindset, by, maybe, doing what they do, scalping Pokemon products, scalping this, scalping that, because I really look at GameStop as like GameStop scalpers anymore. They're just another scalper out there trying to take advantage of the situation. Am I wrong? So I can keep going on. There's a lot of people weighing in on this. I mean, you can get on X yourself, and see what people are saying. But overall, I've shared my opinion on this. I think that there's just a lot of gaslighting to an extent, a lot of delusional thinking, a lot of bad preparation, and not allowing reality to sink in here. But if this does go through somehow, some way, I'm just going to put it out there. This will be very, very bad for reselling on eBay. I just can view that from the lens of, let's face it, I don't mean to be so harsh against GameStop, but GameStop is a dumpster fire, a shit show. A bunch of crypto bros scalping items to try and, I guess, buy more crypto. I don't know what to say. And that's why you begin to ask, well, what's really going on here? Maybe this was a move to try and, increase interest in their stock. And hey, if anything that worked, and you got some more investors, hey, that's great. But they could turn around on Monday and just bail out on you. That's the thing about the stock market. You can just click, you're selling your stock, So anyway, hope you have a great day. I'd like to thank my subscribers. You're the reason I keep doing this. If you could give me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. And check out your subscription list to see when I have new episodes hitting YouTube. And I'd like to thank my viewers as well. Thanks for sticking around and watching my episodes. If you could give me a subscription by hitting the button, that would be awesome. Anyway, hope you have a great day. I'm out of here. Bye.